Avengers Endgame is rapidly approaching, and millions of people cannot wait for its April 26th premiere. It's sure to be a cinematic event, and the reports of its 3-hour runtime suggest that viewers are in for both quality and quantity. This lengthier runtime has many asking the question, what will the movie focus on with all that time? With a lot of potential answers to that question, it's safe to say that time travel won't pop up in those 3 hours. In this video, we're going to argue that things are playing out exactly as they should in Avengers Endgame, and that our heroes don't need any time paradoxes to defeat Thanos. The Avengers definitely will bounce around space, but they won't need a TARDIS, DeLorean, or a quantum leap accelerator to restore half of all life in the universe. The Avengers Endgame trailers we've seen so far seem to most align with the tone of how Marvel heroes took down Thanos in the comics. In the 1991 limited series The Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos travels around the universe gathering up the Infinity Stones. He's doing so because Mistress Death is upset about the number of living beings in the universe and wants half of them eliminated. Having a massive one-sided crush on Death, Thanos accepts this task. Even though the movies remove Thanos' infatuation with Death, even though it could have made for some great social commentary, things play out pretty similarly. He beats up some mostly unsuspecting heroes, gathers the stones, and performs the snap, all before leaving for what he thinks will be a peaceful life. That doesn't happen though, as Mistress Death continues to reject him and the surviving heroes begin to rally together and formulate a plan to defeat the Mad Titan. The trailers show that something pretty similar will happen in Endgame, but some alterations to fit the narrower scope of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In the comics, the hero's plan is mostly formulated by Adam Warlock, the perfect living being. Adam appeared in the MCU at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but hasn't had a full-on introduction yet. His plan centers on distracting Thanos long enough for the various cosmic entities in the MCU to launch an attack against the nearly omnipotent villain. With Mephisto, the literal devil in Marvel Comics, convincing Thanos not to fight at his full ability, this plan nearly works. However, Thanos wises up before anyone can nab the Infinity Gauntlet, defeats the remaining Marvel heroes, and traps the cosmic entities that attacked him in a time stasis. As he grows more powerful, the universe itself begins to turn against Thanos, and his consciousness ascends to a higher existence, and he becomes time and space itself. However, this leaves his physical body completely vulnerable, and gives Nebula the chance to steal the Infinity Gauntlet, thus robbing Thanos of his limitless power. While some elements of this story will obviously get reworked for Avengers Endgame, after all, the movies have way fewer characters than the comics, the general structure will probably stay the same. The Avengers will get together and search for a power that's strong enough to rival Thanos and his Infinity Gauntlet. While we don't know exactly what form that power will take, it's pretty safe to say that it will involve the quantum realm based on the trailers and plot points from the Ant-Man and the Wasp movie. Their newly obtained power will pose a bit of a challenge for Thanos, but he'll keep powering up until he's able to defeat them. Then a couple cosmic forces we've yet to see in the MCU might show up and join the Avengers in their battle. Either way, Thanos will be made vulnerable by his newfound power, and that weakness will be exploited. There are probably going to be lots of fun twists and details in that process, but Endgame is almost certainly going to play out this way. While leaked set photos have made quite a few people think that time travel will somehow be integral to the plot of the next Avengers movie, it really doesn't have to be part of this storyline. Most fan theorists figure that the only power strong enough to oppose Thanos at this point is another set of Infinity Stones. They reason that the Avengers will travel through time, grab Infinity Stones from different locations in the past using the quantum realm somehow, and then use them to bring Thanos down. Many are committed to this theory, even though it would cause a time paradox, and Thanos wouldn't be able to perform the snap if even one stone were displaced in time. In fairness though, we don't really know how time travel works in the MCU, and those involved in the movie have been so tight-lipped that literally anything could happen. Yes, even the one where Ant-Man shrinking, crawling inside Thanos, and then rapidly growing to eliminate the villain. However, there's a simple explanation to how the Avengers gather the Infinity Stones and defeat Thanos. They can use the quantum realm to travel to a different universe and collect another set of stones. The distinction between traveling through time versus different universes might seem semantical, but the latter makes a lot more sense than the former. While we do learn at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp that the quantum realm contains time vortexes, we don't really know what those are or how they work. However, we do know that the quantum realm itself is a plane of existence located outside of the universe. A person can only reach the realm when they continue to shrink after reaching a subatomic size. The implication of the quantum realm is that it's a space between universes, and that our heroes could use it to travel to other realities outside of Thanos' influence. Even if the Avengers did travel through time to get the Infinity Stones, Thanos could easily stop them by using the Time Stone. He wouldn't be able to follow them into a different reality though, as the Infinity Stones can only affect their home universe. This development would also introduce one of the coolest ideas in Marvel Comics, the Multiverse. Moviegoers who saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse got a taste of this concept, but it's been a part of Marvel Comics for several decades now. Essentially, there are an infinite number of universes with their own unique take on Marvel storylines and continuity. The main series of events in the comics take place in Universe 616, while the Marvel Cinematic Universe takes place in Universe 199999. Fans have wondered ever since the MCU really started to pick up steam how the multiverse would appear, and Avengers Endgame seems like the perfect opportunity to introduce the concept. After all, this will be the final MCU for some of the franchise's first stars, so Endgame will try to pack in as many fan-servicey moments as it can. Traveling to other universes could also be a great opportunity for the characters to reflect on their actions and appreciate how their lives could have been different. What if Tony Stark accepted his own limitations and didn't accidentally create Ultron? What if Steve Rogers had decided that superheroes are dangerous and do need to be reined in on? Or what if the Hulk hadn't pieced out into space and Bruce Banner was around for the events of Civil War? Seeing how things could have played out differently might provide our heroes some of the clarity they desperately need right now. Things still aren't great between Captain America and Iron Man, and every member of the main cast is still stricken with grief. Talking to another version of themselves could really help work out their issues and grow from the experience. If Marvel heroes can inspire viewers to be better people, they can probably give themselves the boost they need. You might be thinking right now that this sounds like a cool idea, but won't work because the Infinity Stones from another dimension won't work in the Avengers home universe. While that's a good point, the Avengers should be able to use the Infinity Stones in the quantum realm. If that space acts as the point where the universes overlap, then both sets of Infinity Stones should be able to function there. Now that we've established how alternate universes can save the day in Avengers Endgame, let's dig into why it's the preferable method. Time travel stories are really difficult to pull off, even in the best of circumstances. They're usually needlessly complicated, and most of the tension in these kinds of stories feels artificial. Moreover, time travel as a concept is pretty played out right now. That's why a lot of media with sci-fi elements avoid time travel, and some programs, such as Rick and Morty, outright mock it. For the MCU though, time travel would go directly against what helped make the franchise great in the first place. A big part of the MCU's initial appeal was just how well every piece of media in the franchise fit together and how well thought out everything was. Events from one film seamlessly affected the others, and a wealth of television programs also fit into the spaces between movies. You could check out our video breaking down the full MCU timeline for more details, but with rare exception, the timeline is pretty cohesive. The MCU became the media juggernaut it is today because of its incredible scope and how each part of it was so well executed. Fans quickly poured over every aspect of these movies and tried to figure out how all the little details fit into each other. That's why it would be weird for the Avengers to go back in time and muddy up the timeline that fans agonized over for about a decade. It would undo the very foundation of the MCU and alienate some of its most die-hard fans. Messing around with the MCU timeline wouldn't be very conductive for the franchise's future aspirations either. Now that Disney owns the X-Men and Fantastic Four franchises again, they're absolutely working on bringing these ultra-popular franchises into the MCU. Messing with time within the past decade won't change things enough to make the introduction of these storylines feel natural. Unless the writers go the Deadpool 2 route, but they're probably not quite that bold. Yet. On the other hand, the mashing up of universes through the quantum realm would be an easier way to bring mutants and the Fantastic Four into the MCU. At the very least, it would feel like a fresh way to shake things up, as most comic book storylines do default to time travel after a series is written into a boring corner. It is safe to say that everything that is happening in the MCU right now was meant to be. Everything is playing out exactly as Doctor Strange saw it would, and there's no need for the Avengers to jump around through time. Some dimension-hopping exploits are almost certainly in store though, and it's undeniable that the quantum realm holds the key to taking down Thanos and reviving half of the universe. It's almost impossible to say what lies in store for the MCU after Avengers Endgame. However, it's almost certain that our heroes are going to have to save the day, and that the surviving Avengers will take the franchise in some bold new directions. It's sure to be a timeless experience, even if there won't be any time travel in the movie. So what do you think's gonna happen in Avengers Endgame though? Do those quantum realm suits mean they're going to travel through time or space? Please let us know in the comments section down below. While you're there, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to Behind the Screen. We have a huge collection of videos about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and our backlog is growing every day. We have a lot of cool stuff in the pipeline now, and you're not gonna wanna miss a thing. To help with that, you should click on the bell icon. That way you'll get a notification every time one of our new videos goes live. We try to upload 2 videos every day, so keep an eye out for more great stuff coming soon.